Yo, welcome back to another episode of Underrated, where I rate things that you probably don't. And today we got top 10 underrated zones in retail WoW. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below your favorite zones in retail WoW. Let's go. 10. Number 10 is Voldoon, and I picked this place because I totally forgot about the Horde BFA zones, and then I remembered, oh man, Voldoon. I love that place. Now, I do love my barren wasteland style zones, and Voldoon is a great example of that. Here's a bit of the history from the WoW wiki about Voldoon though. Thousands of years ago, this vast desert with rolling sand dunes was once a dense, vibrant jungle, described by Mira as the jewel of the Troll Empire. The Zandalari trolls and the snake-like Sethrak lived in harmony in this region, and together they worshipped the snake Loa Sethralis. During the war between the trolls and the Akir, roughly 16,000 years ago, the Cathraxi warbringer Mithrax the Unraveler was tasked with invading Voldoon and descended upon the region, slaughtering trolls and Sethrak alike. Sethralis sacrificed herself to defeat Mithrax, but not before the Cathrax was able to destroy the disc at the heart of Atul Aman. Due to Sethralis' death, and the various cataclysms that occurred in the region as the years progressed, the jungles of Voldoon were transformed into a vast desert. As a result, most of the trolls did abandon the region. This left only the Sethrak, who continued to survive and thrive in Voldoon, which they considered the holiest of holy grounds. In the present day, Zandalar sends its criminals here to die, and most of them end up perishing. The area is mostly inhabited by Zandalari vagabonds such as Sethrak and Volpira. The Ashvane Trading Company has a presence in the southern edge of Voldoon, mining for its azurite. Damn dude, I did not know all that. That's quite a lot. That's a nice little history of Voldoon there. But yeah, as you arrive into the zone, you can see the massive temple of Sethralis in the background with lightning shooting down at the top. It's really a magnificent piece of artwork for a dungeon. This place is full with the snake people and their temples. It's a barren wasteland covered in sand, a great purplish and blue hue to the lighting that really makes the adventurer feel like they were once in a place that was a once lush, beautiful kingdom. I didn't really say that how I wanted to, but there you go. It used to be a massive, lush kingdom where all the Zandalar trolls used to hang out, and then they moved to Zandalar. So yeah, number 10, Voldoon. 9. Number 9 is the Jade Forest, and for some reason this place tends to get a bad rep. Well, I love it for many reasons. And unfortunately it's not full with lore, but it's got so many things to love about it. It's a lush, beautiful zone, and if you like Asian style artwork, this is the place to be. My only gripe is that sometimes the trees look too evenly spaced apart, but who cares about those small things? You've got the big Temple of the Jade Serpent lurking in the background, which is a great first dungeon to a new zone. The pillars give this zone a great sense of verticality and really makes this zone feel bigger than it really is. And this place just makes you feel relaxed overall. It's just so green. It's got so many different types of plants and trees. It just really blends well together. It's one of the top places I like to come to and just chill. I pick a random pillar and just sit and enjoy the view. It's an absolutely stunning zone. 8. Every list comes with a surprise, and I was actually on my way to go film in High Mountain, but then I came across Valshara. I mean, I knew about Valshara already, and I was like, damn, this place is actually cooler than High Mountain. It's got a wicked corrupted tree in the background. I mean, this thing is huge. It's another lush, vibrant area with a lot of evil and corruption hiding inside. And here's just a little bit from the wiki. Valshara was once considered a place where nature could be found in a perfect balance. A place so peaceful, it might have been mistaken for the Emerald Dream. Druids sought enlightenment among the vibrant forests of Valshara for millennia, but now the region has fallen under the gaze of evil. A nightmare is spreading unchecked within the zone, and none are immune to its corruption. I mean, it very much shows. The closer you get to that tree, the more evil things become. It's got everything turns red and hazy, and even at one point, the further you go into the tree, the corruption takes a hold of you and will boot you out. I didn't even know about this until I was filming this video, and I think that's a really, really unique thing. But other than the tree, it's a very vibrant and luscious zone. It's got parts that feel extremely swampy and parts that make you feel like you're in a beautiful, almost rainforest-like area. It's definitely a zone to check out if you decide to go quest through the Legion area. It's beautiful. It's got loads of name mobs as well, and just unique little, places that you can go. It's very hazy, very evil at the same time, very lush. It's got everything you want from a zone, from just being a beautiful forest to a corrupted nightmare. That's Valshara for you, and I highly recommend going to check this place out. 7. Number 7 are the Spires of Iraq, and according to the wiki, this is the homeland of the Arakoa, who rule over the land from the Skyreach, a majestic place situated atop the largest spire in the area. Their society, however, underwent a great schism between the winged Arakoa and the wingless, who are considered lesser beings by their winged brethren. Many of the wingless Arakoa have fled from the spires and poured into Talador, while the Iron Horde's Shattered Hand clan strengthens their presence. Many Azerothians also have built their bases along the coast, such as the Steam Weedle Cartel or the Alliance expedition led by Admiral Taylor. Some other tidbits I kind of knew already, but I didn't know everything. I absolutely love this zone. The spires just really give this place a awesome feeling, and it is a great zone to get some excellent screenshots and screensavers for your computer. I would know. But other than that, flying around this zone really gives you a cool sense of feel that everything under is covered in this canopy. It's like these trees have developed a canopy within the spires, and you can't really see anything happening below until you fly under those trees. It's also got this awesome, haunted looking forest, black and white trees. It's very smoky, and if you get the right angle, you can see the spires just lurking in the background. It's a truly awesome zone. I know maybe not a lot of people think this because it can come off as a kind of a boring looking zone, but I love these types of zones. There's so much to see, so many cool places, and the Skyreach is just one of the coolest dungeons in all of Draenor, in my opinion. It could be one of the coolest ones in the entire game. I just think having a dungeon at the top of one of those spires is just really, really cool. Definitely a place to go quest in if you ever decide to take the Warlords of Draenor route, which I do recommend. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, number 7 are the Spires of Iraq. 6. Number 6 is another calming and somewhat peaceful zone, and my favorite zone in all of the BFA expansion, and that's Stormsong Valley. This place is absolutely relaxing if you go to the right spots, but let's start with the non-relaxing areas. If you go off to the right, you're gonna see this massive temple. This temple is called the Crucible of Storms. It's got a huge kraken-like design on the outside, which is so unique. You don't really see a lot of dungeons or raids designed like this. It is so awesome, and I personally love it. I personally love Krakens in general, and just having this as an entrance, I don't know, could be the coolest entrance in the game. I don't know, you tell me, comment below. But other than that, this is a very green zone, loads of farms in this zone, so you can tell that this was an old farming area that's been kind of taken over by some evil, but there are still a lot of relaxing areas. Lots of windmills, a great mountain presence, and a small kelp forest in the water if you do wish to go under the water. There is a nice little pond with, I believe this is I can't remember, is it Howard the Duck? I can't remember his name. Comment below. Someone told me this on my old video, but I cannot remember right now. But yeah, it's got just loads of little places to come chill out if you want. Maybe look at the sunset, smoke a joint. Just a great place. The skybox, the clouds, everything just screams relaxing in this zone, and that's why I honestly really like it. And if you ever go back to my top 10 towns video, you'll see that this town from Stormsong Valley right here has made the list. So you can see that I do really enjoy this zone, and I come here. I mean, I've already quested in here quite a few times, so I probably will not come back for a while, but anytime I do quest in the BFA areas, I make sure to come here as an Alliance player. So yeah, number 6, Stormsong Valley. Get your relaxation on. Number 5, and I'm ready for all the hate that's gonna come my way for putting this zone on the list, and that's Faeshir. And here's a little tidbit from WoW Wiki about Faeshir. This was once a great highborn city, housing some of the most revered night elves of Kalimdor. Faeshir was swallowed by the Great Sea in the Sundering and thought to be lost forever. Queen Valshara, formerly a beloved leader of the Highborn, escaped death in the depths of the sea when the Wall of Eternity imploded. Such salvation came at great cost though, as the Queen and many of her fellow Highborn were forever transformed into the monstrous Naga, doomed to wander the seas for thousands of years. Their existence mostly remains a mystery to the peoples of modern Azeroth, though the Earthen Ring has learned of Azshara's Naga sieging Faeshir for an unknown purpose as the cries of the elements echo across Azeroth from the abyss. Now that's a cool way to put this zone, and you know what? I can really sympathize on why people really hate this zone, because underwater combat in World of Warcraft is terrible and very, very annoying. But let's just come here, let's say you come here at max level where you don't have to fight a thing. This honestly is one of the most beautiful zones that has ever been made in World of Warcraft. It's a completely underwater zone with like living this is kind of hard to explain. It's got like living dungeons. It's got these giant sea creatures that are like caves and dungeons, not like instance dungeons, but just self-going dungeons and caves that you can go into. And that is so cool. You've got this massive Naga city / kingdom underwater. It's got multiple like zones within this zone. So you've got like the kelp area. Let me look this up. One second. It's got the Kelpthar forest, shimmering expanse, and the abyssal depths. So it's almost like it's like a big zone with many subzones inside of it. And you know what the coolest part about this is that you get to ride an awesome seahorse. And if you're a big character like I am, it looks super ridiculous. But this place was so well designed, and it's just a shame that underwater combat, just never really worked out in World of Warcraft. And they had to actually bend a couple things about this zone, such as I think the raid that was going to feature Neptulon. I think they just turned that into a dungeon. But I would suggest coming back here at max level and just having a nice swim around and really appreciating the artwork, because it is actually really good. And you'll have to do like the first 10 to 15 quests just to get that mount to swim around a bit faster, but it's totally worth it once you do. And if you feel like going through the Cataclysm questing route, come quest here. It's really not that bad once you get used to underwater combat. So yeah, number 5 is Faeshir, and you can all hate me for this later. Number 4, and you remember how I mentioned that I love barren wastelands? This might be the best example of that. Gorgrond. And before we get into it, here's just a little bit from the wiki. Gorgrond is a region of northern Draenor. It was created when the massive giant Grond, a mountain given life via the elemental powers of the Titan Agrimar, fell against the Spore Mounds. His corpse became the region of Gorgrond, while his head in Nagrand became known as the Throne of the Elements. I had no idea about this, and that's actually so cool. I did not know that this entire area was once a living being. And I guess that kind of makes sense. Not really, it's World of Warcraft. But anyway, Gorgrond used to be a living being called Grond. I bet you didn't know that either. But yeah, while saying it is a massive barren wasteland, the actual eastern half of it is actually a lush jungle that becomes a barren wasteland the further you progress into this zone. But the jungle is absolutely like a lush, beautiful jungle with ponds and everything. And one thing I did notice about this zone is that I have never seen a zone with so many named mobs in my life before. And if anyone can actually tell me why there are so many named mobs in this zone, please tell me down below. It will actually help me out because I've been wondering this for such a long time. But anyway, why this zone for me is ranked so highly, because this zone really gives you the sense of, let's say the sense of adventure. There's not really any roads to follow. You kind of just gotta go out in the open and go any direction you please. There are some roads, but they end up, either stopping or going to nowhere. And I really love that sense of, adventure. And it also gives you a sense of danger because it feels like you might be lost within this zone. And as you progress further, you're going to come across this huge black rock foundry, which I believe is one of the best raids to have ever come out in the game in general. So you can tell me about your experiences with Black Rock Foundry, because unfortunately I was not really playing during Warlords of Draenor. I was playing other games at the time. So yeah, tell me your experiences with Black Rock Foundry and what made it so good. I mean, the place looks menacing and absolutely incredible, including the iron docks. I think this is so cool. It's so evil. It makes you feel like these iron horde are just getting ready to take over this entire planet of Draenor. It just really, this zone just really gives you a sense of danger, in my opinion, and I think that's why I really love it. I just like the named mobs everywhere. You never know when one huge mob might just creep on you from the back and just take you out. It's got excellent views, steam pockets, steam pools everywhere, and it's definitely my favorite zone in all of Draenor, and probably including Outland. Maybe not Blade's Edge. I love my Blade's Edge mountains as well, but yes, this is one of my favorite zones in the entire game, just purely because you have no sense of direction and just a sense of huge adventure. So yes, Gorgrond will take the number 4 spot. Number 3, and we're starting to see the zones that really make you go wow upon the first time entering them. And this is going to be the newest zone on this list, and that's the Waking Shore. Once you get past the starting area, this zone is stunning. And me, after not playing WoW for a very long time, came back and saw this place and just went, wow, this place is just so amazing looking. You can clearly see that it's designed for dragon riding, which I know not everyone likes dragon riding. I do love it, but it does make filming these types of things a bit more difficult. I won't lie. So hopefully one day they do have, just the regular flying in the Dragon Isles, but let's not talk about that right now. This place is filled with all sorts of landscapes. It's got a beautiful jungle-like area with pillars and, just areas where your dragon can fly through, waterfalls. It's also got a scary, haunting, area that's there's like the Obsidian Citadel, and there's also these other lava areas, but the Obsidian Citadel is this haunting, evil-looking temple sitting at the top of the zone. It's got loads and loads of huge elite mobs, rare mobs, caves. It's got lava flowing from almost everywhere. It's a really, really cool place. It's got loads of daily quests, so you're gonna spend some time in there anyway. It's got the dungeon there. But this place is just filled with huge mountains, great places to jump off with your Drake and just do some great, skydiving or dragon riding, whatever you want to do. It's got beautiful rivers and waterfalls, as mentioned before. It's just a very lush yet also evil looking place. You can tell a lot of work has gone into designing this place, and I think in general, they've done a lot of work designing these zones. I think a lot of these zones just don't get the credit they deserve. So yeah, the Waking Shore is such a beautiful zone. It's probably my favorite zone in Dragonflight. And I mean, if you're playing Dragonflight, you can't miss this place. But if you don't, I highly recommend trying Dragonflight and coming to see the absolute amazing artwork Blizzard has done with this place. It's definitely worth it. Number 2 is Bastion. And I know putting this one on the list might get me more heat than having Faeshir on the list. But hear me out, guys. I know Shadowlands was absolutely terrible, but one thing that was not terrible was the zone design and Bastion, to be specific. This is one of the most gorgeous zones in the entire game. But before we get into why, here's a little tidbit from the WoW Wiki. Souls naturally drawn to service are sent here by the Arbiter to examine their lives, cleanse themselves of their burdens, and work towards a state of virtue, so they might ascend to serve the Shadowlands as carrion, messengers, couriers, and some of the purest souls in the realms of the dead. Fresh arrivals to Bastion will become Kyrian aspirants, wingless beings who train for eons to one day earn their wings and join the ranks of the Ascended. That's a pretty cool little thing I didn't really know about Bastion, but I guess just looking at this place, all of that makes sense. It does look like a place in the Shadowlands where the most pure souls are sent. It's a very calming and peaceful zone. It's got floating buildings and floating temples that just look absolutely stunning in the right lighting and if you get the right angle. The skybox is awesome. I'm not sure how this type of skybox exists in the Shadowlands. Maybe someone can tell me. But yeah, it's just got a really nice color palette. The golds, the blues, the purple hues just all blend so well together. I love this whole, I call this thing the domino staircase. I don't really know what it is. It just looks like a bunch of dominoes floating together. It's just got a load of just amazing artwork. The floating temples, the floating waterfalls falling off of everything. If you saw my top 10 cliffs I did the other week, the cliffs here are just absolutely stunning as well. The cliffs kind of fall into a, nothingness. So I don't know what happens if you do fall off, but yeah, this zone is gorgeous. And I know Shadowlands gets a lot of hate, which it rightly should, but if you have time, come to Bastion, do the quest lines here, or just come and check this place out. You can really appreciate the time Blizzard took to design this place. It's stunning. Number 1 is Deepholm, and this was a place I did not expect to have on the list, let alone number 1. I completely forgot about this place, even though I did quest and play through Cataclysm back in the day. I just forgot how amazing and stunning this zone really is. And just before we get into it, here's a tidbit from the WoW Wiki. Deepholm is one of 4 interlinked domains within the elemental plane. It was created eons ago by the Titan Forged for the purpose of imprisoning most of Azeroth's earth elementals, including Therazane the Stone Mother. Deathwing recovered here after his defeat at the Battle of Grim Batol until his re-emergence into Azeroth during the Cataclysm. This place is awesome, and there's just so many things to see in the zone. You first teleport into the temple, but as you come out, you just see these floating rocks. There's just so much color to this zone for being a hole, basically a hole in the earth. That's what this place is. There's green floating pillars and broken rocks, red ones, purple ones, blue ones, everything. It's just a huge hole in the earth that it really does a good job of making you feel that. It's just got a very unique feel to it. It makes you, flying around in here, it makes it feel huge. This zone is really big. It's also got a couple of rare mobs that will drop mounts for you. I believe one of these stone dragons is in here. The can drop a mount. And this place, like I said, man, is for being an older zone when Cataclysm came out in 2010. This place really holds up in my opinion, and it really shows how well Blizzard is at designing zones. In my opinion, they design some of the best zones in all of the video games ever. That's just my opinion. You can let me know yours. But yeah, this place just has so much to see, and it's just the textures. There's so much time went into designing this place, which I think a lot of time did, because there's just so many little particles just floating around everywhere. It had to take a lot of time. And yeah, it's just a place it's worth coming to see and appreciating the artwork here. I know I've said that a bunch of times now, and if you are deciding to quest through the Cataclysm storyline, you need to come here and do the quest here. There's so many things to do, so many things to see, so many caves, unique mobs, and who knows, maybe you'll leave here with a rare mount. I think it's the Stone Drake or something like that. So yeah, come here, look for the rare mount, appreciate all the floating rocks and the temple in the middle, and have a great time. So Deepholm, you are my #1 underrated zone in World of Warcraft. Thank you for watching this episode of Underrated. I hope you all enjoyed it. I've got a load more of these, by the way. I'll link the playlist at the end of this video. I've got underrated cliffs, caves, dungeon bosses, towns. I got all sorts. I got an entire playlist for you to go through while you're working out, eating breakfast, eating lunch, eating dinner, while you're doing anything. These are great things to play. So yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one. Later.